Good evening everyone and welcome back to the Greddy Fugu Cooper League here with NXTGEN. I'm JackTM53, your commentator for this series. We had race 1 last week. We were midway through broadcasted for race 2 last week, but unfortunately we had to cut out at the time, so fortunately the gents have been able to save the replay and we can have a commentary of the race shortly. Just to remind you, of course, the Greddys have already raced. You can go check that out on the Twitch channel, JackTM53 Synopsis, if you want to check out race 1. But we've got race 2 here, and we're going to commentate on that shortly. So you might recall, first driver to win a race in the series was Ruddo24. So he, as a result, starts from the back of the Greddy Cooper race in terms of race 2, where the minis are used. Swargy will be second from the back of the grid. He'll start 9th with Matty Rudd 8th. Bruce Lee Harden 7th. JPH 6th. Snav 5th. Silver Fox 40 in 4th. D Hartley 79 3rd. Tim 2nd. And Rin _00 start from the front row of the grid. So let's get things underway, shall we, for the race and have a look through and see how the drivers get on. We'll be on board with Tim as we lights come down. And the race is underway from Austria. The Red Bull Ring looks like a poor start from Rin. Tim briefly gets into the lead, but here comes D Hartley. Moves himself forward. Great launch from him from the second row of the grid. 40's up into second place. Tim's having to fight off JPH on the inside. As he comes through turn 1, D Hartley sweeps through and he's got the lead. Still Fox is second. JPH up to third. Tim down to fourth. Rin, terrible start, unfortunately. Looks like he had a bit of an issue with the line. He's down in 10th place, but there's a four-way fight for fourth place at the moment. Snav there with him, and right behind JPH is Matty Rudd. Look at the gap that D Hartley has already, it's immense. But JPH under pressure now as they come into turn 3. On the brakes they go. Matty Rudd dives one up the inside of fourth, who's going to hit the side of Silver Fox 40. Just about avoids it. All carnage happening all over the circuit. It's right on board following with Swargy. He's on the inside. He's had a great run coming out of turn 3 is Swargy, and he's got himself into third position as they approach turn 4. But Silver Fox 40 and D Hartley are already off and up the road. Bruce Lee maybe looking to challenge on the inside, down into turn 4, can't quite get there. Ruddo looking for a move as well. There's Snav in the Betty Schwallox Racing Mini trying to find a way through, but he's actually cost himself a little bit of momentum off the corner. JPH now on the inside. Bruce Lee also defending from Ruddo as we come through turn number 6. Oh, a little bit of contact between Snav and co. Oh, and that's Tim flying off the road into the gravel trap. Mr. Bean has ended back up there, but Rin's still in 9th place. Got to position back as he tries to rejoin the train. That's JPH in the gravel. He's going to lose a lot of momentum. Will Rin get up towards the back of them? He will do, but he won't be quite there. JPH picks up a penalty for his troubles in the excursion through that gravel trap. So, unfortunate for him, but he should be able to clear that with no issues. Look at Snav and Matty Rudd trying to fight over 6th place. So, no chance for him. Sideways action between Bruce Lee and Ruddo there going through the final corner. Ruddo gets himself in front and up to 4th place. But at the moment, it's D Hartley leading the way. Has a nice comfortable buffer to Silver Fox 40, almost 2 seconds after the opening lap. All that chaos at the start just giving the first place driver a chance to just sneak off up the road. See if he can maintain that through the race. And then this chaotic opening lap. Swargy there in 3rd place. Got himself to the front of that queue early on, and he's up and after Silver Fox 40. Look at Ruddo and Bruce Lee. They're still fighting. Going into turn 3 on the brakes. Bruce Lee on the inside. Will he get a better run? He just actually pushes Ruddo out of the road. That stops Ruddo from going past. But Ruddo kept his momentum there. Could be an opportunity for him here in the slipstream. Well, looks like he got a gear wrong there. Looks like he just shifted up a bit too early. And that's cost all the momentum running down towards turn 4. So unfortunate for Ruddo. The race 1 winner, of course, in the Greddy Fugu. There's Snav in 6th. He's got Matty Rudd still with him. Matty Rudd just trying to clear a penalty. Of course, in this series, you can't overtake anyone whilst you've picked up a penalty. But that doesn't stop JPH from trying to challenge him. JPH chucks the Mini through turn number 6. You see the Mini almost cocking a wheel there as it goes around the corner. Classic front wheel drive action in these cars. Let's have a look and see the gaps just slowly but surely being reduced. D Hartley looks like he's lost a little bit of time on this lap. And number 79 leading the way. Silver Fox 40 there in second place. Had a couple of podiums in the McGann Championship, did Silver Fox 40. Really good results in Lobby 2, and D Hartley's picked up a penalty. And Silver Fox 40 with the fastest lap of the race, but Swargy beats that, and Bruce Lee Harding beats that. So, Bruce Lee, fastest driver in the top 5 at the moment. Snav now holding up Matty Rudd and JPH. Matty Rudd's just cleared his penalty. Someone's picked up a penalty further forward, but that's Ruddo just trying to stick with Bruce Lee Harding. Wants to try and use the momentum up towards turn 3. And in fact, he's just going to sit in behind Bruce. He knows that's the best idea right now, and he clears his penalty in the braking zone for good measure. Matty Rudd's up the inside of Snav. Will he make this move stick? Snav runs out a little bit of road, a little bit of contact coming back onto the circuit. Just right on board with JPH, who's following this with keen interest. Snav keeps the position. Had more momentum coming round the outside of the corner. Look at Matty Rudd. Is he going to make a move up the inside? He's got an opportunity. Snav left the door open, and through goes Matty Rudd. No questions asked to that one. He gets straight through. A little bit wide from Snav. Door opened up for him. And now look at this group. This group has completely merged together. Ruddo and Bruce Lee Harding working together have caught up to the back of Swargy and Silver Fox 40, who in turn has also closed on D Hartley. So this could almost be a 5-car fight for the lead. Look at Silver Fox 40's lost momentum, and Swargy's going to go through. I think Bruce Lee looking for a move, but he can't quite get through. Silver Fox, though, has a penalty to try and deal with. Bit awkward place to try and take it, but he's got every right to do so. He's up the inside of Bruce Lee. A little bit sideways through the corner. Here comes Ruddo 24. Takes advantage of the battle and gets the momentum and swings himself into third place. And Silver Fox 40, in the space of 3 corners, goes from 2nd to 5th. Great racing though in the minis. On the brakes into turn 1, a little bit of contact between Silver Fox and Ruddo. Luckily, a little bit of ghosting happened, and Ruddo just about got away with that. But that's brought Matty Rudd back into the picture. He's not too far away. If they keep fighting, might be a chance for Matty Rudd to get back into the podium positions. Meanwhile, Snav having to deal with JPH, but JPH just sitting behind him. Bit of tactics there, just trying to slipstream up to one another, but it's D Hartley who still leads. Be a great result if D Hartley could stay there, but it's still a long way to go in this race. 6 minutes eclipsed so far. Still 9 minutes, under 9 minutes remaining. And Swargy just trying to hunt him down in the white, red and black liveried Mini there. A lot of branding on the front. There's Ruddo. Bruce Lee fighting now with the man in 3rd position. And these two will both know that they can't really waste each other's time fighting too hard. They do need to try and catch up to the front 2 as soon as they can. Looks like they have done that a little bit in the last couple of corners. Seems like the gap is visually closed. Ruddo with the fastest lap, 48.2 that time around. Silver Fox 40 just trying to hang on to his 5th place at the moment and just recalibrate. Snav's all over the back of Matty Rudd into turn 9, but no options for him. And the number 28 keeps the position for the time being. A little bit wide from Matty Rudd. That could pick him up a penalty. JPH. There's Rin, the Maltese driver. He's doing a good job so far, Rin, in this race, I have to say. Might not have the raw speed of the pack, but nevertheless, this is still a good showing from him. And he'll have learnt a little bit in the opening stages just how he needs to launch with the car and improve his own consistency. But good showing from him. And there's Tim. Let's see how he gets on through turn 6. Oh, he's off into the gravel trap and he's pretty much beached it almost there. I'm surprised he's got away with that. Tim running around in 10th. But this is the fight now we've got to focus on, because Swargy has joined D Hartley at the front and he's brought Ruddo and Bruce Lee with him. And in fact, Swargy's forced the door open for D Hartley. The N20 DAR registration plate on the left hand side is under pressure. And on the brakes goes Swargy. Relatively straightforward overtake. D Hartley just clearing his penalty. Good driving from D Hartley just to stop Ruddo from getting through there. That was important. But D Hartley now no longer our race leader. It is Swargy in 1st position, the number 98. Had a good race one in the Greddies, finished second. Can he make it on the top step? D. Hartley looking for his first win on the Thursday nights in terms of the main lobbies. He's won in lobby 2 a number of times. And Bruce Lee, as always with Bruce Lee, very competitive driver, has fantastic racecraft, which is very well highlighted by the other drivers, has brought himself back into the fold. And Matty Rudd is up to 5th, to make a note of that. Snav 6th, and Silver Fox 40's dropped further back. This will be a confidence booster though for Silver Fox. 49.1, his best lap on lap 2. Compare that to the fastest driver on circuit. Oh, look at this. I was about to say that. Ruddo has got himself into second place. Will Bruce Lee sweep past D. Hartley as well going into turn 1? He does indeed. And D. Hartley drops to 4th place. This time, 1 lap ago, he was leading. That's how quickly it could change in this Cooper. Second race of the night. And D. Hartley, though, will have the chance to just keep in the back of these 3 if he can follow the slipstream. Don't rule him out yet. And look at it, he's going to have a look at the inside, but Bruce Lee, wise to that with the penalty, just braked a little later to deal with it. But as I was saying, Silver Fox 40 with a 49 earlier on. It's not too far away from Ruddo's 48.2. And admittedly, Silver Fox was doing that without the slipstream, so good effort from him. Ruddo coming up to 115 mile an hour on the back of Swargy. He's got to look to the inside, a little bit of contact between the two. See Ruddo getting out of shape there, but he's just held it on. And Bruce Lee now, oh, he tried to look for a move at turn number 6, but nothing quite there for him. D. Hartley doing what he can to try and stay on the back of these 3 drivers, and Matty Rudd isn't too far away. You feel that Matty Rudd's earlier excursion at turn 1 when he missed his breaking point kind of just left him in this little bit of a limbo situation, trying to catch up to the rest of the pack. Snav, JPH has got past Silver Fox 40. He's in 8th place. There's Rin in 9th. New best lap from Rin, and a new best lap from Tim as well. Rin and Tim working together there. But it's Swargy leading the way now. This is the fight for the first position on track. Swargy leads going on to lap number 7. Only a couple of laps left after this one. A 48.7 from the front runner at the moment, but there's Ruddo and Bruce Lee circling like sharks to get that first place back. They want to start off the new season with a race win. Ruddo would love to have back-to-back wins. And both of the drivers in front of Bruce Lee pick up a penalty, but it's arguably mitigated by the fact that they can clear that in the braking zone relatively easily. They can't overtake each other though. They both are aware of that, and you can see the timer ticks down. And Bruce Lee trying to take advantage of the ghosting, but he can't quite make his way through. D. Hartley still there with them, still running strong. And Matty Rudd with a new best lap of the race, 47.9. That's a fabulous effort from the bright purple number 28. And it's Snav. JPH is still there. He's got Silver Fox 40 just tracking him. Rin and Tim. Oh, Tim seems to be getting to know turn 6 quite intimately at the minute. But he's back on track, which is where he needs to be. Racing super soft tyres will certainly help Tim out there get himself back on track. And you can see how far the drivers are pushing themselves through turn 6. Right to the extremities of the AstroTurf did Swargy and Ruddo go, and they've both picked up penalties as a result. D. Hartley will pick one up for that as well. So Bruce Lee now will look for a chance to try and move up the inside, but Ruddo covers it off. Bruce Lee moves to the left as we look at it. On the outside line, he pulled off a move before on Silver Fox, but he's probably not going to do that this time. So Ruddo will still have this penalty to try and clear as they come through turn 3. But look at the run. Great run from Bruce Lee. He's on the inside, but Swargy now has a 1 second penalty to deal with. So slipstream benefiting Ruddo here. You'll just see him pull along towards turn 1. Will Bruce Lee keep his nose in? He doesn't. He backs out. A little bit of a contact behind the back of Ruddo through turn 1. Ruddo's only cleared 3/10 of that. And Swargy now has to deal with a bit more of a penalty than what he ideally would have wanted, and you can see Ruddo's closing that gap. Let's see where it goes on the brakes. These 3 having a great race in the fight for first. Ruddo gets his cleared, and Swargy gets his cleared, but Ruddo goes straight through him and into the lead. An inopportune moment for Swargy to try and clear that penalty, and Ruddo just took advantage when he needed to, and he leads the way. Tim moves over, lets the leading quartet go through. Because D. Hartley's right there as well. I'm really impressed with his recovery so far. Look at D. Hartley trying to make a little move up the inside at turn 4. That would have been impressive. Matty Rudd trying his absolute utmost to get to the back of this quartet. This is a 4-car fight for the lead now. Absolutely brilliant. Here for race 2 of the evening. Bruce Lee just tracking at the moment. Swargy had led the second part of this race after D. Hartley got overtaken, but Ruddo, with the one opportunity he wanted, sneaks through, and now it's down to Swargy on the attack. You can see Ruddo pulls to the inside line, going towards turn 9. Look at Bruce Lee as well. They're following each other as they approach this penultimate corner. On the brakes, a little bit of contact between Swargy and Bruce, it looked like then. It could be wrong, could be lag instead, but they filter themselves through fine. Hartley's just dropped off the back a little bit. That's not ideal for his hopes. And Ruddo's gone slow through the corner. And Swargy's been absolutely compromised as a result. So Ruddo pulls across. Bruce Lee moves up to second place. Where does he go? He tries to fit between the two of them. And he's got himself a small gap. But this is going to be extra tight. Going into turn 1, Bruce tries to go around the outside. Can he quite make it? He can't. Swargy now with the opportunity. He gets the underlap. Ruddo, aggressive defensive manoeuvre. But he keeps himself in front. And the momentum just falls away from the pair of them. This is the final lap, so that will mean Silver Fox 40 will be the last driver to see the flag. Rin and Tim will get across the line, but it's Ruddo at the minute defending for all his worth, but he's got ghosted through. Swargy can't get past. Bruce Lee runs wide as well coming out of turn 3. It's all going to come down to these last few corners. This is one big opportunity for Swargy if he wants to try and send one down at the inside line at turn 4. Ruddo moving across both sides as best as he can. Will he look to make a lunge? It's quite far back, and he doesn't. He just stays behind. One other opportunity, a conventional overtaking opportunity through turn 9. He's got a very good run as Swargy. Ruddo moves to the inside for turn 6. We're watching with Bruce Lee. Ruddo, can he hold the line through turn 6? He does indeed. D. Hartley and Matty Rudd are out of this, so it's down to these 3. Swargy can't find his way through. We'll ride on board with him. The number 24's been staring him at the last room, and Swargy picks up a penalty. How inconvenient is that for him? That might just have settled it. I don't know how Bruce Lee's going to be able to clear that. Ruddo's also not got a penalty, so this is going to effectively give him the win, providing he just keeps it on the track, which he is doing. Here they come then towards the final corner. It's been great racing, but Ruddo, 24, is going to take back-to-back wins here at Red Bull Ring. Great result for him. Who's going to clear the penalty? Bruce Lee does. They all had penalties at the end. Bruce Lee cleared his. Swargy didn't as he crossed the line, so he drops to 3rd. Hartley 4th, Matty Rudd 5th, Snav and JPH 6th and 7th. But Silver Fox 40 rounds out the 8th position on the final lap. Well, what a set of races we had last Thursday. Absolutely fantastic to watch. You can check out the race 1 on my Twitch feed, of course, JackTM53 Synopsis. We will be live later on again this evening for the second round of the championship, which is certainly going to be interesting. Both cars, of course, will be racing tonight. The Fugu, Greddy Fugu, which will begin everything off, and then, of course, the Mini to round out the evening. I'm sure that'll be exciting. But tonight's round, Laguna Seca, do tune in for that in a few hours' time.